Hey D group leaders, I hope you're all having a great week so far. I'm sure you're excited as I am about our first week coming up in our host homes. There's just something about being in a home rather than being up at the church that really seems to lend itself to good discussion. So as we kick off with our curriculum for this week, there's really two main points that I want each of us to stress in our discussion with our kids. The first comes from the first text in the book, Psalm 139, 13 through 16. And from this, I really want each of us to stress just the fact that God created each of us uniquely, and because of that, we have enormous value. A couple of questions that you might want to look at using in that discussion is, why can it be so hard to recognize our own value? And that really hits on a lot of the insecurities that we have, and I think that can lend itself to some really open discussion with our kids. Another question you might want to use is, how would our lives be different if we truly recognize this value in every other person? If you do use this question, I would encourage you not to allow the conversation to stay at merely a superficial level. I would really push this to be as challenging as it possibly can be, because when we really look at the way we see everybody around us, I would doubt that any of us would claim that we're good at this, that we're good at seeing every person we come across every day as having so much inherent value because of the way they were created by God. So those are a couple questions you might want to use for that point. Again, the point being, God created each of us uniquely, and that gives us so much inherent value. The second text that we're looking at is Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. At least Ephesians 2, 8 is a very, very popular verse, but rarely do we follow it up with verse 9. The point I would like stressed about this text is that God has planned good works for each of us to do in advance, meaning that the purpose of us continuing to live here after our salvation is to carry out these good works that God has planned for us. One question you may want to ask the kids in this and start a discussion over is, if salvation is by faith alone, what's the point of doing good works? Why even bother? If our salvation isn't in question, if it has nothing to do with the things that we do, why would we even bother to live our lives doing good works when many times that means we're doing the hard thing? So I hope you have a great week with your groups, and we look forward to hearing about it.